So I had never been on any other far mission trip aside from Alaska, and nothing international, so it just stuck out to me as something that seemed like an amazing opportunity and something that I could probably carry forth with me. It was amazing, even just getting there, seeing like everything, like the sunset, like everything, all of God's creation there. It was so amazing getting to see that and getting to see the people, the joy they had. That was the biggest experience of it all, just the culture that we saw there. Literally walked out of the airport and Joe, the leader of J-Life, comes up and hugs all of us. He, like one by one, comes around and hugs all of us, and we're like, oh my gosh, I've never gotten such a warm welcome to somewhere. And then first day, it was Monday, that was the first full day we were there, had the opportunity to go and do door-to-door gospel sharing testimonies. And we went up to the first house, and I had really never seen the culture here. Obviously, I've never been to Zambia or Africa. And so we ask if we can share the gospel with the lady, and she gets out a mat, she gets out chairs, and she makes an area for us to sit to tell her about the gospel. Most of them were very responsive. It was such an open culture, and they were so open to hearing about it and so genuine and kind. And I feel like it was so much different than Frisco in that way, because we can be very busy here. We can have our schedules that we need to attend to something or we need to go somewhere. But I feel like in Zambia, it was just so, it's not like they didn't have a lot to do, but it's like they could make time for you. I think I saw joy more specifically when we would go to the VBS, go and do VBS around there, or when we would go to the high school, or we went to the orphanage. It was just the kids there expressed so much gratitude. They expressed so much thankfulness for what they had been given, even if it was just the smallest things. That I feel like that's what really led to them being so joyful, because they didn't have a lot, but what they did have, they were grateful for, and the faith they did have was so big. So I went up to Chris and I made a side remark about preaching that night, sort of a joke, and he was like, okay, so why don't you do it? And I was like, what? It really caught me off guard, and I was like, I thought about it probably for 10 minutes, then I was like, okay, I'll do it. So I looked back at, I believe it's Luke 15, and the story of the prodigal son, and I decided to preach over that. And getting the opportunity to go up there, my translator, Brian, and then later Joe, they did a very good job, and it was just amazing getting to speak in front of the crowds and getting to talk to them and see their reaction. The Holy Spirit used that explanation to lead to two girls coming up and giving their life to Christ that night. It just showed me the power of the Holy Spirit, because it really shows that He has no limits. No language can be the limit, and there's no boundaries that He cannot cross, that He cannot surpass to reach people with the Word. The two takeaways I feel like I'm going to take away from this trip are mainly the words peace and joy, because I feel like coming back to Frisco, there's such a culture around always having something to do, always being busy, packing your schedule, and really not making time for the things that we should, but always trying to fill with something. And so I feel like I've decided to make more time in my life for just peaceful activities. I don't always have to be around people. I don't always have to be doing something. I can just take time and rest in God's presence to get peace and have the peace of the Holy Spirit. And then for joy, really what that stems to is gratitude. I feel like I've been taught so much gratitude and so much thankfulness throughout this trip for what we get to have, the opportunities we get to have. Just getting to drive my own car here in Frisco is crazy, because most people there don't have cars, or getting the newest iPhone. These are things that most people in the world don't have the opportunity to have. The culture there is really based around singing and dancing, and I feel like that was just so cool. That really showed me how much joy they have, because they're constantly praising God. They're constantly praising God, and they countless times throughout that trip, there were just examples of God being shown glory through the way they worship.